Once you've declared a set of variables, you're ready to assign data to those variables. And there's essentially two ways to do that. One way is to actually assign the value when you declare the variable. And you do that by just adding the assignment operator, which is the equal sign, followed by a value on the same line where the declaration is. So for example, where I had int number, I write int number equal sign 100, and I'm saying assign the value 100 to number at the same time that we're declaring the variable. We could also do that with rate, like so. If you can't or don't know the value of the variable when you declare it, then you can write an assignment statement later in the program. What we'll do is we'll move down below our last declaration. And so for example, I can assign a value to first name by writing an assignment statement. An assignment statement uses the assignment operator, the equal sign, followed by a value or an expression, I'll explain that in just a minute, to assign a value to the variable. So here I'm saying assign the value Jane to first name. I could reassign the value to number using an expression like so. So I can say assign the value 25 times 4 or 100 to number, which I've already done. So let's change that to 125 because it's kind of silly to reassign the same value just using an expression that yields the same result. So for some of our other variables, we can write letter equals A. Notice that when you assign a value to a char variable, you put it in single quotes rather than double quotes. That differentiates what we call a char literal A in single quotes from what I'm just going to write this out, I'll erase it in a minute, a string literal A would look like with double quotes. Char values are assigned using single quotes. And then for the flag variable, Boolean, we can write flag equals true to assign a true value for the variable flag. So that's how you assign values to variables using what are called assignment statements. Let me introduce another concept here real quick, the comment. Comments are parts of code that the compiler ignores that are strictly put into a program for the person reading the program to view. Comments can begin with a double slash mark like so, followed by the comment itself. Comments can either come at the end of a line like I've done there, or at the beginning of a line like that. Either way you write them, once the compiler sees the double slash, then it ignores the comment completely. There's one other way to write comments. If you want to comment out several lines of code at once, you can do that by using the old what's called C style, which got its name from the C language. Comments by writing a slash star at the beginning, followed by a star slash at the end. And by doing that, I've commented out everything from the beginning slash star to the ending star slash. So comments are important to make notes for people to read your program, because remember that when you write a program, it's just as important that people be able to read it as it is for the compiler to compile it and be able to run it. So comments can add lots of clarification into a program. So to review data assignment one more time, there are two ways to assign data to variables. One way is to do it in the declaration, like my example here where I write int number equals 100. And the other way to do it is in an assignment statement with these three examples right here, where we take the variable on the left-hand side of an assignment operator, the equal sign, and then write an expression or a literal to be the value of the variable on the left-hand side. In the next lesson, we'll actually do an exercise where we work with the Hello World program and use variables to change the phrasing from Hello World to other things. In this chapter, we're going to talk about decision making and how to go about making decisions in a Java program. Decision making is important because a program has to be able to make a choice between different values and determine what type of processing to do based on a comparison of different values. So for example, in a payroll program, the program needs to know if the hours worked is greater than 40, because then the worker gets overtime. In a program that's checking usernames and passwords, the program has to see if a password matches the chosen password based on the username. So decision making is quite crucial to programs. In this first lesson, we're going to talk about the relational operators. These are the operators that let us compare two values to see if they're the same, or if one is greater than the other, or if one is less than the other. Lots of different comparisons. So let's look at those comparison operators, also called the relational operators. Now, what I've done is I've got a program started, and I'm going to discuss the operators within this comment section, or at least show them. The first relational operator is the equality operator, the double equal sign. So the double equal sign stands for equality. When you compare two values using the double equal sign, it will return a Boolean value, either true or false. So for example, in this little short program right here, we have hello equals hello. So we're comparing this first string hello with this second string hello, and that will return a Boolean value, true or false. Let's just look and see what it shows just to go through the motions here. So we'll save the program. Let's clear the screen. Java C chapter part 1.java, and then Java tab 8 part 1. And you'll see it returns true because the string hello is equal to the string hello, given that the letters are exactly the same. Now, if we change the second hello to a capital H, then the result is going to be different. Let's look at it first, and then I'll discuss why. Compile it and run it again, and we'll see that now the answer is false. Well, that's because the first H in the first hello is lowercase, and the second H, or the first H in the second hello, is uppercase. When Java is making comparisons between strings, it looks at the ASCII value of each letter. So the ASCII value of lowercase h is not the same as the ASCII value of the uppercase h, and that's why you have that discrepancy. And of course, we can also perform the same task with numbers. I'll just write one out real quick. 2 equals 2. I won't run this. You can guess what's going to happen there. The next relational operator that we're going to discuss is the greater than sign. And again, you can probably guess exactly how that's going to work. Let's just replace this equality statement with the greater than statement. So 2 greater than 2 is going to be false. If we compare hello with hello greater than, it will depend on if the ASCII value of lowercase h is greater than the ASCII value of the uppercase h. If so, then their statement is true, otherwise it's false. The next operator we have is greater than or equal to. So here, let's go back to the numeric statement again. Here we have 2 greater than equal to. That will return true. If we change it to greater than equal to 3, that will return false. And the same sort of comparison can be done with strings, and it will again depend on the ASCII value of the letters in the order of comparison. And what I mean by that, the order of comparison will be the first letter of the first word compared to the first letter of the second string, and then the second letter to the second letter to the third letter to the third letter. That's how the comparison is done. Okay, after greater than or equal to, then we have less than. So here we have 2 less than 3, and of course that's true. Whereas if we reversed it and said 3 less than 2, it would be false. You can imagine how the less than works. And then we have less than or equal to. I forgot to caption it there, so let me go back up and put a caption there. And here we have less than or equal to. And again here, if we said 2 is less than or equal to 3, that would be true. But if we turned around and said 3 is less than or equal to 2, that again would be false, because 3 is not less than or is it equal to. The last relational operator is not equal to. Let's go back and look at our strings again. Hello not equal to hello would return true, since the h in the second string is uppercase and the h in the first string is lowercase. We can always do these comparisons with variables because the values of the variables are what are compared. So if I had, for example, let's look at a simple example. String password equals password. And then I had another string, my password equals, and then we compared these two. That comparison would be true because these two variables do not contain the same values. They differ by 1 letter. So the ASCII comparison would return false. So that's an overview of the relational operators that we'll use in making decisions in Java. As we get into the decision-making statement, the if statement, we'll see a lot more use of the relational operators, and you'll have a better chance to work with them and get used to how they operate. When we have an expression such as password not equal to my password, that's considered a relational expression. And for some situations, a single relational expression will do and is all you need to make a decision. But sometimes you're going to need to combine more than one relational expression, 2 or more. And in that case, you're going to need another operator to do that comparison, and those are called the logical operators, and we're going to talk about those in the next lesson.